Hello, this is Stacy from 2 Weeks in a Hammock, and I'm going to take you on a tour of the Trude Cottage on North Manitou Island. Come on inside, let's take a look around. This cottage was built in 1894 by Nicholas Phelan of Chicago for the Trude family. The Trudes were part of a group of friends from Chicago that built this Cottage Row area on North Manitou Island. It is a section of the island which has a plot of 10 individual cottage lots that were sold and built on by a group of friends in the late 1800s and early 1900s as their summer resort community. So as we look around here, you'll notice that this has beautiful wood paneling throughout. We're in one of the side bedrooms right now. And as we go back into this main room that we first walked into, this room goes from front to back. This was called a dog trot style architecture. So we're crossing into the other front bedroom. This architectural style was rare for the upper Midwest, and it was built by Nicholas Phelan, who was a builder from Chicago, who knew the families there. They hired him and brought him up, and he built several of the cottages. And they all have these really beautiful wood interiors. Now, these cottages were not built for year-round use. They were not insulated. They did not have electricity, of course, being in the late 1800s. They also didn't have indoor plumbing when they were originally built as well. Some of the cottages added that later, as we'll see that this one did. And you can see the beautiful wood interior. We're in the third bedroom now. The bedrooms had side doors between them and had some closets. And you can see some of the really nice hardware that's in this house still. Some of the hinges and the plates on the doorknobs are just gorgeous. We're walking back into the main room again. Oh, but let's peek out the back window here real quick. Looking out into the backyard from here, you can see there's additional buildings out back. We'll go walk around outside in a minute. And here in the main room, you'll see this very large fireplace to drive away the chill on a chilly early summer day here in Lake Michigan area. So this is in northern Lake Michigan on North Manitou Island as part of the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. These cottages are all historically protected, and it is rare to be able to get inside of them right now as they're under restoration. I'm here with part of a volunteer crew, which is doing various things. A couple of my friends have been working in this cottage this week, so it's given me an opportunity to come in and take you on a little tour. This is the fourth bedroom on the side, and you can see the back side of the fireplace there. There's a closet. Back out into the main room. And in the past, when this was originally built, the house would have ended around here. But they built on later, the family that owned it. It was later owned by the Fisk family. They built on this back kitchen area. And it has, at this point, they had added the indoor plumbing. And it's a little dark back in here because some of the back windows are covered up. And this is a back door going to the side yard that's facing to the north. We've got some cupboard space. And as we walk into this very back area, this is the bathroom that was added on later. All the cottages were originally built with outhouses behind them. And found my light, so I turned that on to illuminate this. You can see that this room has got some very charming wallpaper, which everyone enjoys when they come in. Plumbing still in here. It had a tub. Of course, this was not original to the house. Give you another peek at that cute wallpaper. This cottage is one of 6 cottages that are still standing. One is privately owned. This one is owned and protected by the National Park Service, Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. It has recently had a new foundation. They take care of the roofs of these buildings, and they're working on the interior restoration of them as well. Another peek through this room. Let's take a look out this back door over here. As you can see, there are still some footings from what used to be an old porch on the back side of this building. And it's got a back screen door. And this house is in pretty good shape. It was lived in until the late 70s when the Park Service negotiated the purchase of North Manitou Island from the major landowner, the Manitou Island Association. The Fisks owned it right up until the time the Park Service took over, so they sold their interest in this property directly to the park. Let's go on outside. Let's take a look out the back, or off the porch here. Now we're looking toward the east, and this is the Manitou Passage. So that is Lake Michigan over to the mainland. And the mainland is about 11 miles away by boat over to Leland, which is the port where the ferry comes from. And this porch has this really nice seating on it, just a nice broad porch, a great place to enjoy a cool summer breeze and get away from all of the hustle, bustle, heat, and pollution of Chicago in the late 1800s. Now let's walk around the outside. As you can see here, where that door is, that was the door that we saw in the kitchen on the inside. So everything from that door on back was added later. And then there are a few outbuildings back here as well. This little pile of what looks like wood or rubble here in the middle used to be a cistern, and it is kind of collapsing, but it still has the bands around it that you can see. Recently, the Park Service has cleared away more of the woods behind this as a way to protect these historic structures from fire danger. And these various buildings were not originally here when it was first built in the late 1800s. The families that built here were able to, when they purchased one of the 10 lots, they were able to build their cottage and had an outhouse, and then they also had access to an 18-acre park-like area in front of the cottages right on Lake Michigan. The Fisks later, who owned it, also owned property right on the interior lake, Lake Manitou, which was called Fisk's Landing. It still is that on the map today. Now, the park today is almost entirely wilderness area, except for this small area near the dock, and you can see some campers coming along here. Backcountry campers visit this island. About 4,000 people a year come to camp here. And as you can see, they kind of are walking past the historic cottages. People often wonder what's inside. So I hope you've enjoyed this peek into the past. And if you are interested, I have more videos on Cottage Row and North Manitou Island on the website, 2weeksinAhammock.com.
Thank you for joining me on this tour of the Trude Cottage on North Manitou Island. Have a great day.